Welcome to Moneyweb TV with myself, Nastasia Aronsoy. Today on our entrepreneurship feature, we have Salvatore Barras and Kyriakos Iulianou, who are the directors and co-founders of an app called MiBRAND. It's aimed at changing the way we as consumers interact with our favorite businesses and retailers. Guys, thank you so much for your time.
How's it going?
So let's start off with MiBRAND, the app. I mean, how did it all come together?
Me and Sal were friends from school. And then primary school, we went our separate ways. And then about 10 years later, we saw each other out at a club. And I remember he came to me and he said, because he knew I was a developer, and he said, I want to work with you. And I told him, I wasn't sure. I told him, yeah, maybe we can meet up. And then an hour later that night, he came up, he ran to me, he said, Kiri, I've got $1 billion app idea. Yeah. We're meeting on Monday. And I said, okay, take my number, let's meet Monday. And now we are.
So after the meeting, I mean, you had the meeting that Monday, he told you about his $1 billion idea. What were the first steps? Like, how exactly did you say, okay, we're doing this?
Well, the first meeting, me and Kiri sat down, I kind of introduced him to what it is that I wanted to do, kind of gave him a brief spectrum of the kind of coding that we needed to get done for it. And he was happy, he loved the idea, and it was that following Monday that we got onto it. Same day, the next day we started on the UI design, started getting a structure together, and yeah, so that development started in January, and then over the 7 months we obviously developed the product. I think a lot of what we learned was kind of trial and error, actually implementing something, realizing, okay, this isn't going to work as well, this will. So yeah, that's kind of where we've led up to where we are now.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of people who are thinking that, I want to have an app or I have some kind of business idea. The biggest concern they have is funding. Like, once I have this together, where do I get the money to launch it? With you guys, where did the funding come from? Was it family and friends? How did it work?
Look, in South Africa, it's difficult. I mean, venture capitalists aren't looking at it's not vastly, you don't hear about a lot where these tech companies, these venture capitalists are funding tech companies. So for us, we knew it was going to be a problem when we knew that we had to get the product to someone that was in the industry, being shopping and malls. We knew that it was going to be difficult to try and sell this to someone when the South African market isn't quite where the States is in terms of mobile technology and software. So we approached the shopping mall developer who was busy with the shopping mall at the time. We obviously pitched it to him as how it could help his new development, and he liked it. So that completed our first round of funding. That was back in March. And since then, we've got good news. We've since broken even. That initial investment has been covered, and our investments obviously our partners left with their profits. But yeah, in South Africa, it is difficult. You have to have something really solid to be able to sell it to someone, especially venture capitalists.
Yeah. And in terms of trust, like when you sat down with the developer, with the guys who were developing the mall and you're pitching this idea, what about them when you guys were pitching said, we can trust these guys that they won't steal our idea and then decide to roll it out on their own?
When we pitched it to the investor, we didn't just have an idea.
Yeah.
We had been developing for 2-3 months, so we had a prototype to show him. And if you just have an idea, then you need to go back and keep. You can't just go and approach an investor with an idea. It has to be like a vision. Yeah. It has to be a plan. You know who you're selling it to. You know why it's going to work, where it's going to work.
So how does it work? I download it on my phone, and then what happens?
See how we came up with the idea. I was trying to find a venue, and I Googled it, and you get 1.3 million results for it as you're searching average. And it's kind of a thing, you're looking for something, you just want to be able to type it in, tap it, and then know where it is. So this was where the problem that we faced, and it was obviously with venue, and then we realized this was a problem that's been around since retail started is, oh, you bought that, where did you get it? So we wanted to create the solution to that problem. I think it's something that was long overdue, and I think if it wasn't us, someone will take the steps to actually provide a strong means of communication. So a consumer wants to know where a business is or where a certain product is. We're in the 21st century, we should be able to pull out a phone, tap it in and search, not have to search through Google results or see what's happening here or here. So how the app works, if you feel like a burger in Bedfordview, you'll type in burgers in Bedfordview and it'll show the closest store that sells it. From there you can get instant GPS directions, or if that store happens to have a voucher, then you can claim it and get a discount on whatever it is that you want.
Cool. Are there any plans to expand it to other parts of the province, the country?
currently we're busy uploading another 300 stores in Kempton. We've just closed a deal with
AJP Group.
AJP, they're one of the biggest shopping centre developers in the country, and that should roll out mid-November. We'll have all of those stores signed on, 300 specials rolling out every month, so that'll be a great proof of concept to start expanding on.
So at the moment, is it just the two of you, or have you managed to expand the team a little bit?
No, our team, we're currently on 12 developers. We've got a legal team, we've got our finance team, we've got 2 co-partners now. This came with the acquisition. Universal Technology Holdings acquired 51% of MiBRAND. So this meant the integration of the 2 companies. So it's obviously given us access to more manpower, better resources, you know. So yeah, we have a strong development team, which is nice in multiple platforms, PHP, C#, Ruby. So it's given us nice leeway, you know, to...
Backbone.
Yeah, backbone, that's the word for it.
Okay, so what are the plans for the future? Do you guys intend of being in this line of business for a long time, or you'll see where it goes?
I see myself staying in it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think, look, the vision that we've decided to take on, it's going to grow. I think that South Africa, people are scared of investing into the tech market in Africa, but I think it's the wrong thing to do. The people are going to make their money, and the people that are going to dominate the market in 10 years to come, when we've caught up to the States, not even 10, maybe 5. The guys that are going to be doing well, the guys that already set their foundations down. So we want to turn MiBRAND into a household name in the tech market. Plans for expansion: we're opening our offices in Asia next year, January. This will mean developers overseas in India, which will be able to do more corporate and freelance work. We want to do it, and for income reasons, obviously, to keep our investors happy, but MiBRAND will be the main focus for next year, and taking it global before the end of 2017.
Okay, just to go back a little bit, how do you guys make sure that you're always innovative in terms of this app, and then you're making it better and better? Like, where do you get some of your ideas from?
Well, I think Kiri said to me once, and it really stuck with me, you know, there's a million different products doing a million different things, and you know, you come up with an idea and you think you're the first one, but it's never like that. You'll never be the first one to come up with something, and if you do, you know, all the best to you. But it's not about, I mean, search engines were always around. Google came and dominated the market. Social networks were always around. Facebook came and dominated the market. I think it's not what the product does, but how it does it, which is important.
Yeah, everyone's trying to think of this like interesting, crazy ideas where it's like, wow, like it hits you like bang. It's something simple, quick, easy that makes people's lives easier. You don't need to reinvent a wheel. You just make sure it's slick, simple, quick.
And since you guys have embarked on this entrepreneurship journey, what is that one thing that you guys learned about yourselves? Let's start off with you.
Well, you know, never in my life have I been dedicated to something like I am now. You know, it's get up in the morning, as my eyes open, it's the first thing. That's something that I learned about myself, that, you know, actually you start learning that you can do something, you know. And I think for everyone, people think they see where we are now and they're like, oh, but how do you guys do it? I can't do that. That's the first mistake you make. I think what you reap, you sow. So it all comes down to thought power. I learned how positive thinking, how it changes, you know, my environment around me, and it all starts with, everyone thinks that it starts here or with the, you know, everything starts up here. I think that's the one thing I learned about myself.
You?
One thing I learned about myself is more like you don't actually know what you're capable of. Like you think you know, and then you don't do certain things because you think you're not capable of doing them. But if you just started, like you just tried at the beginning, down the line you'll actually look back and say, hey, I ended up doing that thing that I thought I couldn't do. So I've learned never to place a limit on myself, like, oh, that's a bit too, that's a bit. Just if I want to do it, okay, let's start doing it. Where do we start? And then see where it goes from there.
Cool, guys. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
That was Salvatore Barris and Kyriakos Iulianou, who are the directors and co-founders of the mobile app called MiBRAND.